And this is the segment where I've got Heidi on one side, I've got Greg on the other side, and we are both going to be talking, or all three going to be talking, about how they're going to be collaborating, cooperating, working together, all those different things that you can ate together. you know, operate, elaborate. And so Heidi, tell us, you've got plans for expansion, but a while back you served me that prickly pear margarita. Oh my God. That's what made me mention Greg to you on that particular broadcast. Tell me what other drinks tell everybody more about that, and what else you've got planned for exotic Arizona drinks.
Lots of fun things on the drink department. We're gonna do gardens throughout the whole property. So this whole property we're gonna add indigenous plants that we can muddle all of our drinks with. So lavender, sage, cactuses. So we're gonna do a lot of scratch, and what we're looking for is Arizona spirits to use in our bar.
Okay, and Arizona wines too. Right?
Arizona wines, beers, ciders.
Now Kenny had told me earlier that you guys are looking to be Arizona foods as well, and he and I will be talking a lot more about that. But so I mentioned to you, Greg, and Desert Cider House, when you served me that marvelous, folks, this was a marvelous margarita. I'm a whiskey drinker. The only time I drink tequila is when I'm in Mexico. But this was a marvelous margarita. And now, Greg, tell us what inspired you to create the recipe for Desert Zephyr with the prickly pear.
Well, it was the same sort of thing that Heidi was doing. Was we were really trying to make something that spoke to, the Southwest nature of our business. That's kind of also why we called it Desert Cider House. Was we wanted to sort of lend that feeling of the Southwest to our business. So really it was, okay, well, we've made a regular cider, a regular hard cider. What are we going to do that sort of speaks to where we are, that's special about the location that we're in? And it was sort of a no-brainer to go with prickly pear. We did a bunch of research and tried to chase down some prickly pear providers, and found this wonderful prickly pear juice out of Tucson. And it just it was an instant, no-brainer thought. That's the way to go for our next one.
So you use two Arizona fruits.
Absolutely.
Or two fruits that are available in Arizona. Do you use Arizona oranges as well?
We use orange extract, which is, it's sort of a more concentrated way of doing it without adding the pulp and all into it. We don't filter our ciders, so all of our ciders are natural, and every once in a while you'll see a slight haze to it. That tells you that there's nothing special added to it. We don't do any weird filtering or anything for it. So for us to do orange in it, an extract was the best way to go. We use 100% natural extract to add that orange note into it.
Okay, that's actually kind of perfect because of course, I like orange extract simply because it's mostly alcohol.
Right.
But your desert cider, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's what, 6% alcohol?
Yes, all our ciders are 6%, except for our Desert Dragon. That's a 6.9% alcohol. So we started making the recipe that we use for our Desert Dragon hard cider is the original recipe I made at home. So
Heidi, you're going to be bringing Desert Cider House ciders in, right?
Yes, we are.
So we have some here, and although we I don't normally go for having photographic and videographic evidence, we're going to be doing a tasting here. And then when Kenny comes in the next segment and he's talking about the food and bringing out the food that we're going to be tasting the food, he'll work on the pairings then, because he's got particular foods, Arizona foods, that he wants to pair each one of these with.
Yeah.
Okay, so which one do you want to go with tasting first?
That's the Zephyr. That's our Desert Zephyr. It's got that beautiful rosy hue to it that comes from the prickly pear.
It's delicious.
That one's a little bit lighter on your palate.
I could just
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah,
It's
try
good?
it. It's
Yeah.
delicious.
it's great for sort of afternoon or brunch on the patio sort of deal.
Hey, yummy.
Real clean finish.
Oh, Christina, you wish you could have this, don't you?
It's
Scowling at you while you're cooking. Oh,
We don't want to waste any. That's alcohol abuse right
we
there.
definitely don't want to waste any. Right now, folks, as we drink the Desert Zephyr, we have
the Zephyr's coming
we
up.
have a slightly stronger Zephyr
It's a little
coming
breeze
through
up here.
and wanting to blow things over. So let's go with the Desert Dragon. Maybe we can heat things up and slow the wind down.
So that one is our cran palm that she's trying right now. And that's blended with 100% cranberry and pomegranate juice. It's a straight apple hard cider.
That's delicious.
And we
Well,
don't
that's
add...
that's what makes ciders, right? It's apple.
Yes, they also have Perry, which is made with pear juice, and we're looking to maybe release one of that here in the new year. But actually
pretty good, too.
acquiring
Oh,
the...
you've already tasted it.
I know what they taste like.
Don't
make
share
them.
anymore. They're all right. Bring them over here.
Yeah, that one is, that's it. Those are the three juices that we put in it. So it's apple juice, pomegranate, and cranberry.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking that, confusing the whole process of making cider, and I looked when I knew that there was such a thing as mead and that it is made sort of by the same process,
Right.
but mead is honey
Yep.
rather than fruit.
And there's a lot of stringent stuff about creating ciders. If you're going to make a cider, you can't label it a cider if you ferment other juices with it. So it has to be apple or pear.
This one is
This one is the Desert Dragon, I believe she's trying right now. That's our original hard cider. It's got a little bit more of an
Delicious.
amber color to it because of the brown sugar
and,
that
and
we add
there's some
to
of
it.
that cloudiness you were mentioning, so we know it's real.
Yeah, it doesn't typically, we let it sit for about a month, and so all of the stuff settles out of it.
It closed my eye.
Oh my gosh. Give it back.
That one's got a kick.
Give it
Yep.
back.
That one's got a
good.
kick. That's what, 6.9?
That one's 6.9% alcohol. Yep.
Okay.
A lot of the ciders that are out on the market are 5 or 5.5%, but that means that they've had to either water it down or add something else to it.
But we live in the desert, folks.
So we do it for real.
And here, we use real stuff. Put some hair on your chest. So this is cool. You're going to be bringing these in and serving these, and you're going to be providing these.
Absolutely.
Now we're going to be talking a little bit later about an expansion that you're going to be doing. Well, let's get that done now.
Okay.
You're planning on expanding the patio and doing the garden and everything, right? You are planning on... Tell us about your plans.
Well, we're in a little tiny facility, so we haven't been able to do a tasting room. We get a lot of questions about tasting room. Are we going to open that up? We really would like to, but we just don't have the space. So we've been working with the city of Chandler and some other people, scouting out new locations. We don't really want to move out of Chandler or too far away from where we are now. So we're basically trying to double the size of our facility. That'll allow us to put in a tasting room. We can expand the production that we do when we do that, and that'll allow us to also bring in a mobile canning unit. And they'll be doing regular canning runs of it, so that'll expand where we can be. There's a lot of bars out there that have a limited number of taps.
You
So
could
if
even
we're-
go into grocery stores with that.
Absolutely, that would be the plan of action. So a lot more bars, a lot more corner stores, and then you'd be able to get it at your local grocery stores as well.
Excellent. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you, folks, I'm having such a great time here. But then again, I usually do because I'm the executive producer. I'm the host. I get to, take credit for all of this. I also get to take the blame for it, which comes with, being the one to get the credit. You can't have one side of the coin without having the other side of the coin. But Heidi, we got Kenny coming up here in a couple minutes. Tell us about the food and the pairings that he wants to do with these. So thank you for being on here, and
Thank you.
this was a great little session here between you and Gregory. Gregory, I want to thank you for being part of this.
I appreciate it.